Hey guys, what is going on? We're here at Chris's garage, and today we have something special. Let me show you what it is. So Jeep Cables actually sent me the Big 7 kit for the Jeep WJ, but here's the great news. We are going to do a giveaway for these cables so you guys can get your own Big 7 set as well. The only thing you have to do, click the link down below and submit your email. You can also gain more points by either following me on Instagram or Jeep Cables on Instagram. I suggest doing both. Get the most points you can. That way you get the most entries that you can for this giveaway. And the giveaway is for this exact same set. Or you can use the credits to buy something else on their website. But you can either buy this or anything else, like anything else on the website with the credit that it gives you. With all that being said, remember to sign up down below, share with a friend so that they can win too. I don't know, check it out. I actually might choose more than one winner, but so the first winner will get the cables and the second winner might get a shirt or, you know, or some of my bulbs. Check it out, sign up down below. Let's get started with the install. So the great thing about these cables, they all come labeled, so it should be a pretty straightforward install. It all tells you where they go. This goes to the fuse box, which is right here. And we'll figure out a location for that. And the best thing of all, made in the USA. Sign up for the giveaway. So let's go ahead and start by taking out the battery and then we'll go from there. So taking out the battery is pretty, simple. You remove these posts and then the little, I think it's a 10 mil down there, and it should come out. And this is a good example of why you want to upgrade your battery cables. Both of these posts were tightened down like a couple weeks ago, and look, it's loose. And I tightened it down all the way. So that's one reason you want to upgrade them. Another reason you would want to upgrade, look how thin these wires are compared to these. These are, I believe, 2-gauge wire, so it'll be a lot better than these stock ones. And another thing, if you don't know about cables, over time they can actually grow corrosion inside and you won't even be able to tell. That'll cause issues with the Jeep. You won't be getting the correct current going to, where it needs to go. So we're gonna go ahead and replace it. Now that we have the battery out, the next thing we want to do, I'm gonna focus on this area since it's pretty close. We're gonna open this up. There's a cable here we're gonna replace for the ground. So I wanna get this out of the way. The way you do it, there's some clips in here. You just kinda, I guess I should do it with the screwdriver before you get mad at me. So there's some little clips. You just have to push them in and then it'll just pop out. And be careful with these, they might be brittle. So don't break them. I already broke one of them. There we go. So now this gives us room to be able to pull these wires out that we will be replacing, and then take this one off as well. It's still connected back here, so there's still cables coming out, so it might be a little bit hard to take off. So the first thing we're gonna do is remove these right here, and then the ground cable that's on the fender back here. Ow! I should have my gloves on. And like I always recommend gloves because I just cut myself. Get some of these. These are my favorite gloves, Gorilla Grip. They sell them like at Home Depot. I'll have them linked down below too. These are honestly the best. I would use them when I was working in HVAC, so it's probably gonna get infected with all that dirt. Why you should have took those off before you removed it. You're right, I should have.
I was gonna tell you that. I was gonna say that, I was like, you know what?
Alright, so these two up here are 10, as well as the one on the fender for the ground. And also I removed the overflow tube from the radiator and just left it out of the way over here, just so it gives us more space, more room. Okay, so now that we have that off, we are going to cut into the harness, take off this tape, and that way we can access the wires and be able to take it out and put the new wires in the loom. Alright, so I took all the wire loom off of all the cables just to make it easier to see what we're doing. So we're gonna start off by taking the cable off of the alternator that goes over here to the fuse box. But with this kit, it goes from the alternator to a fuse and then the fuse box. So as you can see, everything's pretty much straightforward. The starter down there, and it runs up, to the battery cable here. And then from the battery cable goes to the fuse box. Okay, so for the cable from the alternator, you have this end that goes on the alternator, and then it goes to the fuse here, and from the fuse it goes to the box. The fuse, I think I'm gonna place right here on the battery tray, but I mean, just find a location where you can put it. I can even put it right here, honestly, just with some self-tappers or something, like around here. But no, I think I'm gonna put it on the battery tray, and that should hold it. We are going to start off by removing the alternator. So it has these clips right here, just take off the cover. So on the alternator, we just have to remove this nut right here. It's a ½ inch. It's a ½ inch. So the alternator cable is connected to the battery cable. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the starter next. That way it comes out in one piece. But you can also just cut it and take it out in pieces. and replace everything in pieces as well. And if you have a lifted Jeep, this will be a lot easier. So now that we have that disconnected, we can take all of that out. So this is all the old cables right here. I mean, you can tell the size difference even from over here. So the next step, to get all the wires, the old wires out of here, I'm gonna remove this ground cable that goes from the battery to the block down there. I'm gonna do this from the bottom, but you can do it from the top as well. And this one will be a 15. Okay, now we can just remove the negative cables. So there it is. That's all the old stuff right there. We got the new stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna put in the cable for the starter. I'm just gonna connect it hand tight for now and then tighten everything once I'm done putting all the wires in. And this we're gonna route pretty much where the stock one was at. I would suggest taping up this green cable here to the red wire, just to have it all hooked up together nice and clean before you put the wire loom on. So there we go, we got that one lined up. The next one we're gonna line up is the alternator. And remember to take the cover off the old wire so you can put it on this one as well. Okay, so I actually figured out a better place for this fuse. I'm actually going to install it right here. So 2 self tappers over here, and I'm gonna drill a hole through the tray on this side and just zip tie this side around. That way this cable leads straight to the fuse box. From the starter, it goes to the battery terminal. And then from the battery terminal, you have another cable that goes to the PDC. So you should have 2 cables that go to the PDC. Alright, so I went ahead and mounted the fuse. I put 2 self tappers up here and then a zip tie down here. I just had to drill a hole through the battery tray. But that's solid, it's not going to go anywhere. Good to go. Now I'm going to put this in the correct place. You have to put it underneath the fuse. So I'm going to put it underneath one washer. Put a washer. The lock washer will go on top. And then we're going to do the same thing for the alternator side. So that fuse is good to go. Now before I connect these wires to the PDC, I'm going to run the ground cables because there's one that goes back here. So look for the negative cable, the black one that says fender to battery negative. And that's the one that goes right behind the fuse box back here. So I'm actually going to route this one a little bit differently. Chris made a good suggestion. We're going to run it to the back just so it's hidden out of the way. Okay, we're going to take the bolt, put it back in. Now we could pop our fuse box back into place and we could go ahead and route the cables for the PCD. You might actually have to trim right here. I'm going to cut this plastic a little bit just to give us enough room for both terminals.
Don't flinch, dog.
So I'm going to use both posts, put one cable on each one. Okay, and we're also going to have to trim right here because of the cables. It does not fit. I had to cut out the little cover that was on here just to fit the wires, and I had to go up a little bit into this, but now it clips right in. I guess not this side, but there we go. It's clean there. We'll route the wire underneath. We can tighten these actually now. So there we go, it's all tucked, it looks clean. And then we have the battery terminal that'll be like somewhere around here. Now let's focus on the negative wires. So we have this one from the fender ground here. Now we're gonna run the other wire that goes to the block. Okay, so I have the ground here that goes to the fender here onto the terminal, and I have the one that goes to the block. So we're gonna attach to this one next. It just goes down through here and just put it on that same bolt that you removed earlier. Alright, so we have most of the cables already set in place. Now we need to do one last cable that goes from the block over here to the firewall right here. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that. It's just straightforward, take it off and replace it with this one. It's a 7/16 up here, and then over here it is a 10 on the firewall.
Fix it again, Timmy.
Alright, so we're taking this old ground cable here and we're replacing it with this new one right here.
It's okay.
It's okay, cooler. Oh my god.
Better angle of that.
Yeah, I know it's hard to see, but
There it is.
there we go. So those are both tight. These down here are tight as well. The alternator's tight, starter's tight. The block one is tight as well. The only thing that's loose are these right here. But I'm gonna tighten those once it's on the battery, just so that I have enough leverage. But that's pretty much it. Then we just have to add the wire loom. All right, so we have all the wiring in place now. Everything is tight. I have everything on zip ties. I'm gonna cut them right now, but I left them like this because I'm going to order some more wire loom. This wire loom is actually not big enough to fit around these wires, so for now I'm gonna leave it like that, but I will be doing a separate video with the wire loom. And also I'm gonna buy some clamps that I can screw into down there, that way it holds the wire down. But pretty much
Get on the stool.
This guy, he's over here working. I bring him a stool, and look, he's using my icebox,
hey, it works better.
and that's why he's falling.
Nah. So pretty much everything is solid, good to go. The last step is I recommend spraying each of the terminals with some battery terminal spray, just to protect it from the elements and you don't get corrosion. Or you can use some dielectric grease, either or. Just you want to protect all of the terminals. So the next step is we're gonna put in the battery and connect the terminals onto it.
Oh yeah.
Make sure to clean the posts, might as well, since you're already doing all this. Clean it up. Okay, great. So just so you guys are aware, I made the mistake, so you guys don't have to. The terminals are actually labeled N and P, negative and positive. They're two different sizes. The negative is a little bit smaller, the positive is a little bit bigger. So don't make the same mistake I did. Alright, so everything is back together. So the next step is turning on the car. One thing I will mention is when I was taking the old battery post off, I did hear a crack over here. So I hope I didn't break anything inside the battery. But let's go ahead and turn it on. There we go. Alright, so that's it for the install. Everything is working. We are good to go. Like I said, I'm gonna order some wire loom, since the wire loom that is on the Jeep originally is too small for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and order that, make it look nice and pretty in another video. For now, this is good to go. And remember to enter for the giveaway. It'll be linked down below in the comment section and the description. Don't miss out on some of these cables. They're really good quality. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.